Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Connect. I am Cary and today we have a very special guest in the studio, a guest who has done a lot of work with us over the last 1 year and someone who I think everyone in Chennai knows. John, welcome to the show. It's really good to have you here. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have John Britto in the studio. We're going to be talking about dance, we're going to be talking about music, we're going to be getting crazy. All you have to do is watch. Well, like I was saying, you're watching Connect and we are with John Britto. Now, you are considered by many to be one of the best choreographers in Chennai, if not in South India. How does that happen? How did you start off with dance?
Dancing, yeah, just like everybody else, I discovered dancing very late, maybe during my college time. And I tried a lot of stuff before I actually narrowed down on dancing. Like I was into cricket and I had played for state and I was into debating and all the normal kind of stuff that you try. And then I hit upon dance sometime during my college time and it kind of worked some magic for me. And I felt this is what I want to do. And I started off as a dancer, not as a choreographer.
Okay.
It's two different things. I mean, I started off as a dancer, then a dance master. And choreography has probably come in maybe 5-6 years after I started off as a dancer.
Okay. Now, the first time you went out and you danced, you said you got that feeling.
Yeah.
Could you describe that feeling? Is it one of those things where like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life?
Yeah,
is
that's
that kind of a feeling?
Yeah, that's the kind of feeling. And when you perform live, especially if you're performing in front of, say, a crowd of, say, 3,000 people, the kind of response you get is then and there, you know? You know if you're good or not, then and there.
It's like theatre,
Yeah.
It's that instant gratification. You're good, you get the cheers. You're bad, you get the boos. That's pretty much as simple as it gets. You don't have to wait for ratings and, you know, things like that.
It makes it all the more difficult.
True. But then again, on the other hand, you know, you could say that a lot of people would have a lot harder a time at their jobs. You know, I mean, guys like us actually, in a sense, kind of have it easy because there are people out there that, you know, drive around in auto rickshaws every day and you know, this is what I do for a living. So it's kind of a lot nicer, you know. But continuing to talk about dance, now you have a dance troupe and, you know, you've been doing shows all over the world, not just in India. And that's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about. But what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go and watch a song right now. So as soon as you guys come back from the song, we will continue more with John and all of the dancing. And yeah, there was this really cute girl in John's troupe. I don't know if she's still there, but if she is, well, yeah, you guys aren't going to see that because you'll be watching the song. Still with John and you're still with Connect. Now, John, you have a dance troupe or is it a dance
It's a dance school.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what is the difference between a dance troupe and a dance school? I mean, obviously I know one has like a whole teaching thing, but
See, it's like this. A dance school basically is a training division. It trains dancers to work on specific dancing styles. One very important thing, everybody thinks classical is a word associated with Indian dancing. You say, what is classical? And people say Bharatanatyam.
right.
You know?
Right.
There are lots of classical forms in Indian dancing itself. And classical is also a word which you use with Western dancing. Like your Western classicals include your ballet and jazz and those forms. A Western dance school will ideally teach dancing styles. And what this means is if you call one of the dancers and say you want them to show you a jazz repertoire and they can actually do a jazz number. A dance group is necessarily a set of dancers who can dance well but not necessarily trained in dancing styles.
Right.
So
you can't just take someone from a dance troupe and say, all right, well, I'd like you to do like, you know, this, get into ballet 5th position or whatever.
It can't
and they'll
work.
just look at you and go, duh.
And also if you work with a set of dancers who are not trained, then your choreography gets limited.
Right.
Like if you want to do a ballet number and if it requires a certain level of stretch, if these dancers are not trained, you really can't choreograph anything, which means as a choreographer, you start getting limited with your dancers. And that might not always work towards your favor.
Now, when you start teaching people how to dance, essentially, what is the first thing that they learn?
See, there are various formats for a class. First of all, there's a fitness segment, which we require everybody. Like you just can't come straight away from office and then start dancing,
Right.
straight away from college. And there's a fitness segment which forms a very integral part of it. And every dance form has its own levels. Okay, like basic footwork, and then get into arm movements, then positions, then correct your body movements. And so, for example, if you go abroad, if you see a ballet dancer, if you see a dancer, you can say he or she is a dancer.
Right, yeah.
If you've noticed that.
Yeah.
So that comes through that training which is imparted in levels. So we actually lead them through that entire thing. It's a very progressive thing. Like there are lots of dancers who come to us and say, okay, listen, what do you want to learn? And they'll say, listen, I go to a disco, I can't dance. So what can I do? and then you'll be like, okay, why don't you join the classes? Because you can't tell them like learning dance is like a, it's like a long process. You have to actually spend time on it. Of course, there are people who have the magic of dancing who pick up stuff very quickly. But necessarily they all go through the same format.
Right. I mean, it might be a faster process for some people. They grasp it quicker, but the bottom line is you have to do. It's kind of like anything. I mean, even a subject that you study in college.
Exactly.
A guy who studied astrophysics at some point in time had to learn 2 + 2 = 4.
Yeah.
Without which he can't do the astrophysics. It really is that simple. But do you have a lot of people that come in and say, I want to go down to the disco and dance?
Lots of people.
You
lots
do.
of people.
And
lots of people.
And you take in.
Yeah, what we recommend for them is the hip hop classes.
Okay.
We recommend the hip hop classes. We don't ask them to get into ballet because that's not what they want to learn. And like if you bring them the first day, like for about 6 months, they have to just learn holding the poles. Right. And then if you're going to tell them to go to a disco, you have to hold and practice your positions. It doesn't work. So we usually put them in the freestyle or the hip hop classes, and that's what they actually want to learn.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. If you want to learn how to dance and you're not a very good dancer, all you have to do is go down and meet John and he will turn you into a dancing machine. But right now, it's song time. On this episode of Connect, every time we're going to take a break, we first have to find out a little something about music. So John, give me another bit of trivia about music.
Dance, you mean?
No, about dance, yeah, sorry. Yeah, well, you see, this is what happens when all you do is talk music. Yeah, you forget about dance, right? Dance, that's what I meant.
Like you have classical and folk dancing forms, and most folk dancing forms, like if you take India, most of it has originated from festivals or melas, which is the actual word which they use up north. And we say when people celebrate, they celebrate in style. And what more better way to express your happiness over a festival through dancing. So many dancing forms, like folk dancing forms, have been born out of festivals which happen.
Isn't like Rajasthan a massive hub for these very colorful dancey music festivals?
Most of it is from the festivals. Yeah, most of the dance forms in the Rajasthani folk forms are all born out of the festivals there.
I think they have so many festivals because they don't have any greenery. All they've got is sand. So you have to have something to make you happy, right? Let's have a festival. No, I'm kidding. If you guys are watching in Rajasthan, I'm sorry. I'm just joking. I love camels. Let's take a break. You're back and in the zone. We like to call this Zone Connect, and we've got John Britto in the studio. And John, you actually did a lot of work with us on Voice Hunt, and let me tell you that it was something that we all appreciated greatly, because I saw some of those kids dance before you got your hands on them rather, and you did a phenomenal job. You were also a judge. So let's talk about that entire process. What was that like?
See, first when they called me, they said, we'll give you about 4 days and about 2 hours each day, and these guys have to be trained for a stage show. And that was a big challenge all by itself. So we actually got down, before the team arrived, our group as such, we did a lot of homework on what we need to do.
Right.
So we got the songs in place and stuff like that. These kids were very good. They really cooperated. They never asked, none of them asked us to change any move, nothing. But what you can do with your dancers, it comes by learning, in the sense over the years, we've worked with so many students that we know what works quickly.
Right.
So we tailor-made our productions basically to make them ready in those 4 days for the stage show. And I think they did a wonderful job. And I guess in the episodes which come on Voice Hunt, you'll see the kind of work.
Yeah, you guys will see. No, but I have to say that I've never seen a harder working bunch of kids, because we put them through absolute torture. I mean, there are a lot of you out there that don't really know all of the stuff that happened behind the scenes on Voice Hunt, but the fact is that they had 20-hour days, you know, and 4 hours of sleep, and they were getting voice training and dancing and style and grooming and all of that. It was a very intense phase.
The best part was each of the trainers wanted their portions to be the best.
Right.
So they would come to my place in the evenings, and I rehearse, and they'll all get up and rehearse. And then if I see them sitting around again, say, get up, practice, keep practicing, and they would never sit down, and they would just keep practicing till I asked them to, okay, break for the day types. So I guess, yes, it was a lot of work from our end, but it would not have been so successful if the group didn't cooperate so much. Right. It was great fun though.
Speaking of success in terms of dancing, what is there an average time that you'd say it would take for someone to become a decent dancer?
For a dancer, it could take anything from, say, 3 months. If you spend about an hour a day, 3 months to work on your dancing. that's for a dancer, but not for a dancing style.
Right.
A dancing style would take more time. But as a dancer, what I would say you becoming a dancer is what you move, we'll just polish it for you.
Right.
Just refine your moves. We say everybody is capable of some basic movements. And when you come to the institute, we first try and make that like proper. We try and, kind of polish those moves and make you look good when you move, so that somebody says.
So no one looks at you and goes, dude, he's having an epileptic fit. Give him a set of keys.
So a dancer, yes, about an hour a day for about 3 months.
About 3 months.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. If you look like you're having an epileptic fit when you dance, do not wait. Go down and see John, because the bottom line is, guys, you gotta get some polish. And right now, we gotta get some music. Like most things in the world, dance has also had its fair share of misunderstandings. In fact, I think there are still loads of misunderstandings about dance. So would you tell us a few that you know of?
I think the most common question that we get at our office whenever people call in for learning dances is, I'm 40, can I still dance? My kid is 2 years old, can I send the kid for a dance class? Actually, you can start off dancing. We recommend like 5 years. We say as old as 5 and as young as 50. That's our tagline for the age group. And we have kids who are like 4.5 who turn up, and we also have people who are like 50 plus who turn up for classes. Right. Of course, aging is a process which you fight against, and your classes can't be that high impact. Okay, but dancing as an art, of course, you can learn. You can learn it even if you're 75. But then impact and
you can't learn breakdancing when you're 75.
Is something when you're breaking down. So. You can learn at whatever age, but what you do as part of your dancing schedule, and that is something that you need to work on depending on what age group you fall under.
Bottom line, no matter how old, you can dance.
You can.
If you've got music, you can dance. And in some cases, even if you don't have music,
you can
make your own and go dance. Right now, let's just take a break. I just found out a little bit of information that would be very interesting for you guys to know. But before that, let's start with how I found out. Now, would you say that this is sort of the South Indian answer to the Shamak Institute of Performing Arts? Is that?
Yes, it would be in one way. It's an organized sector for both learning and performing.
Right.
So that's what Shamak's place is all about. It's so organized, both in the performing side and the training side. Another surprising thing is that if you take the entire South, probably Tamil Nadu, in Chennai in particular, would be like the number one. If you think of number of dance groups, number of dance schools and fitness itself, down south in between, like Andhra, Karnataka, Bangalore, and Chennai.
Yeah, I would have just automatically assumed it would be Bangalore.
Like the number of dance schools in Chennai is the number now is really high, and it's an organized sector, which is good. Which means you're no more a bunch of college kids meet up after college, practice, and then after college gets over, disband the group and then go ahead with your lives.
Yeah, which is basically what it was like in the old days when I think when all of us were teenagers. It was exactly like that. You just have your little college troupe and stuff like that. But now you actually get paid to dance. I mean, this is
paid to dance, and it's like a normal job. You go from 9 to 9. You're on payroll.
There you go.
You're on payroll, which means you don't have to actually go, okay, I performed a show today, I get a pay, and okay, next 2 weeks I don't get a show, so what do I do? And then people start rethinking their professions. So this is now like a very organized sector. You have an organization, you have various divisions, like people are there who just perform, people who teach and perform, lots of things right now.
I think that's actually something that we need in India, very specifically because India, entertainment is always looked at as like this, it's for people that can't become doctors, lawyers and engineers, And it's like, has anyone ever thought that this is a real job? Because I went through a phase when I got into television where people would ask me, don't you want to get a real job? I'm like, man, this is a real job. I'm on call more than a doctor is. I literally am. I'm on call 24 hours a day. And
I often ask, like, who decides what an offbeat profession is?
Yeah.
Okay, it's because like we are 10 of us here, 9 decide to become academy, something in academics, and one guy decides to take arts, so you become offbeat.
Right.
If you're in a set of 10 people where 9 become artists and 1 then that becomes the
he's the idiot. He's the idiot that's actually
I often ask, like,
working for a living.
Sometimes when I'm in interviews on newspapers, they're like, we're interviewing people who are in offbeat professions. Like, so who decided that this is an offbeat profession? You?
Alright, you're a journalist. How come you're not a doctor, lawyer or an engineer? Doesn't that mean you have an offbeat profession? No, it is just one of those weird things that happens in our country, more so than anywhere else, I think. But luckily, you're doing a lot of work outside of the country, so that is definitely a big switch. How long has that been happening?
That's been happening like for the past 3-4 years now. But when you go abroad, they actually want to see what Indian dancing is all about.
Right.
And you get treated like VIPs. That's the best part. You're like a star when you go abroad, and it's good exposure for the gang. They also know what's happening internationally. We get to meet dancers when we go abroad. We learn a lot of stuff when we go abroad and meet these dancers. It's a great experience to start off your, like for me, probably my career started off when I was in college. And when I started off, I would have never thought I'd start off a dance school.
Right.
And that you'll never know, you would have never dreamt that you were going to go abroad and do shows. So to see all this actually happening, it's a great feeling.
It is, yeah, it is amazing. But and I'll tell you one thing, every time I look at someone that has succeeded in doing something offbeat, it just makes me get all like, yeah, because it's kind of like telling everyone that decided that we were all strange people that made bad choices. It's kind of like telling them, you know what, maybe we didn't, because the bottom line is success, no matter where or what you're doing. Yeah, get it? Success is success, no matter where or what you're doing. That is the bottom line. And right now, well, the music everything, is the bottom I believe, line. Comes full circle. I mean, life is just that way. Actually, so is dance. Dance tends to be, very circle-oriented. But what's next for you? I mean, you started off, you were a dancer, dance master, choreographer, you've got a dance school, you've got your own dancers, they're all on payroll. What comes next?
I'm going to be a choreographer for quite some time. I'm going to try and experiment with various mediums. I've started doing stage shows and then music videos, ads, and movies in the future. Yeah, I would also experiment with that. Ideally, over a period of time, I would want to start off an arts institution where you can learn dance, music, and theatre. The reason being that over here, especially in India, academics and performing arts, they're both parallel parts. It never meets.
Right.
So you either choose this or you either choose that. You can never have both the opportunities at the same time. Whereas if you go abroad, you can just drop out of academics, get into mainstream theatre or music.
Yeah, or you can even do both at the same time. You'll have people who do drama and psychology.
Yeah.
In
and
college.
The best part is by the time you finish, you're a star already. That opportunity we don't have here in India. So over a period of time, ideally I would want to start off something like that, a performing arts school, that's what I call it, where we would have dance, music and theatre. We would have the best from around the world to teach and to choose our talented artists. Students who are interested in picking up a career in performing arts will have to just come, learn, and then make their careers from there.
So they don't have to. It'll almost be like a college thing.
Yeah, like a college thing. The only thing is, every artist does not have to think that where do I make a start? Right. Do I have to make the investment? How long will I have to wait? I mean, if that's going to be your deciding criteria, say 5 out of 10 people will back out.
True.
Even if they have the talent. If they have the talent.
But one of the things that has always remained, very weird about the entertainment world is that the success rate is very low. You have something like globally, you have like a 3% success rate, which means for every 100 people that go into an audition, maybe 3 people will get something out of it.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about becoming a huge star, you have like a 0.6% chance of actually becoming huge, which is, I think, one of the major reasons why people tend to kind of move away from entertainment, because they're like, dude, man, what if it goes wrong? But at least if you have, this backing, then there is a little bit more confidence that goes into, every audition that you do or every place that you go to. Now, your dance group, as it is right now, you guys just came back from I think it was Colombo, was it?
Yeah, we had just been to Colombo.
Just came back from Colombo. Yeah. Now, that was the last international show that you did. Now, how did that go?
That went off very well. In fact, the crowd, they have their own dance forms as well. Right. And it was a crowd which enjoyed dance and music. It's like Goa. Okay, the crowd there loves dance and music, so it was a great experience performing for them because they really liked the show. And we'd also done some fusion dances with some Sri Lankan traditional dancers. It was great fun. That's what we'd recently pulled off. We have some other tours coming up for the Middle East and the US and UK. We have some tours coming up in December and Jan.
Okay. So you guys looking for new dancers? Because I love travel. Yeah, okay, I can't dance to save my life, so that's not going to happen. But, you can always try. So, bottom line here, if you had to give anyone advice about dance, whether it was a dancer or someone that just wanted to learn how to dance or a choreographer or whoever, what would your advice be? Bottom line.
It's very simple. If you want, you can. Simple as that.
Well, good enough. And right now, if you want, you can go and watch a song. On this episode of Connect, we've had lots of very interesting stuff happen. We've been talking about dance. We've gotten good advice about dance. You guys have figured out where to go if you want to become dancers. And of course, if you're already a dancer and want to get better, you still know where to go. So the bottom line is this episode of Connect has been very, very informative for you. And I think you should start paying me money just for giving you all of this information. Okay, I'm kidding. But John, it was an absolute pleasure to talk to you. I think it's been about 4 or 5 years since we last met.
Yeah.
Since we officially met, should I say. And you know, it's been really nice catching up and stuff like that, and I'm sure everyone out there enjoyed it, and I really wouldn't be surprised if you had lots more dancers to deal with. But thank you so much for making time for us to, you know, sit down and chat. Take care, and when that institution is built, I will be a student.
Guest lecturer.
That's so much better. All right, now you guys take off because this episode is done. Until we connect later,